Into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light.
Hello and welcome to the grand final for round 1 of the 2017 Combe Karting Championship. This has been one of the most competitive events we have ever run here, and these 8 drivers have driven brilliantly to make it into this grand final. All top 10 from last year's championship have returned to the championship for this year, as well as a number of extra talented drivers, the first of which is Matt Hallam in his debut in the championship, making it into pole position for the grand final. Ben Winter, the runner-up in last year's championship, joins him on the front row. Oliver Bayani, who is a double champion now, the reigning champion, lines up third, with Michael Seabourne third in last year's championship, starting fourth. Andrew Fryer, another debutee in the championship, lining up fifth, with Kieran Dawson lining up sixth. Ed Bars in seventh, and our junior champion, Matthew Baker, lining up in eighth. We're waiting for the lights to go green, which they do now, and it's a brilliant start from Ben Winter. He's through into the lead as we go on board with Oliver Bayani. Matt Hallam's looking up the inside. There's contact. He has clipped the wall, and he is spun to the back of the field. And Kieran Dawson there getting sideways. Matthew Baker looked like he was trying to go around the outside, but it's Ben Winter who leads from Michael Seabourne with Oliver Bayani in third. There's a big gap back to Kieran Dawson in fourth. Andrew Fryer is holding that fifth place, but the leading trio have broken away. There is Andrew Fryer in fifth, but the leading three ahead. Kieran Dawson fourth, Andrew Fryer fifth, Ed Barr sixth, Matthew Baker dropping back down to seventh. It looked like he had a good start, and Matt Hallam bringing up the rear. And they have split into 2 trios, Matthew Baker and Matt Hallam at the back with a lot of work to do. But Ben Winter is leading this race ahead of Michael Seabourne. Oliver Bayani is pressing in third. Ed Barr's having a look at Andrew Fryer in the background there. But Michael Seabourne is the one challenging Ben Winter for the lead, trying to find a way through. But it is Ben Winter still with that lead at the moment. Kieran Dawson is under pressure from Andrew Fryer, and Matt Hallam's starting to catch the pack back up. Ben Winter still leads through the chicane. Kieran Dawson holding that fourth place, Matthew Baker seventh, and there is Matt Hallam definitely catching. Ben Winter defends into the top corner, under pressure from Michael Seabourne, with Oliver Bayani right behind, ready to make a move if either of the two in front of him make a mistake. But Ben Winter still holds that place as we go on board with Bayani. Seabourne's ahead, and he's looked at the inside. There's contact, they're side by side. Seabourne has the inside, Ben Winter on the outside. So they head through the chicane, still side by side. But Ben Winter holds on to the lead. Michael Seabourne in second, and Oliver Bayani in third. That was a very aggressive move from Michael Seabourne, but Ben Winter holds on to the lead. But it does look like the battle for fourth is catching up to this leading battle. So Ben Winter still leads as they go across the line. Kieran Dawson in fourth, Matthew Baker and Matt Hallam there, both catching the pack up as well. The leading trio do look like they have gapped that battle for fourth a little bit again. So Ben Winter still leads from Michael Seabourne. Oliver Bayani is in third, Kieran Dawson in that fourth place, and Ed Barr's trying to find a way through Andrew Fryer. But Ben Winter under a lot of pressure from Michael Seabourne here. He is still leading this race, and Kieran Dawson holding that fourth place. Matt Hallam now right onto the back of Matthew Baker, but Ben Winter leading the way. Michael Seabourne's going for the cutback. He's got a little bit of an overlap, but that's not worked out, and he's lost a lot of momentum. Ben Winter now has a gap, and Oliver Bayani is trying to find a way through past Michael Seabourne, but is unable to get it. That battle for fourth is now 4th through to 8th. Ed Bars is putting the pressure on as Matt Hallam looks up the inside of Matthew Baker, but is unable to make it stick. But Ben Winter now has a gap out in front. Michael Seabourne is in second, Oliver Bayani third. Kieran Dawson is closer in fourth now and broken away from Andrew Fryer, with Matt Hallam and Matthew Baker there in the background, bumper to bumper. So Andrew Fryer under pressure from Ed Bars as Matt Hallam dives up the inside of Matthew Baker. They go through the top corner side by side, still side by side. Matt Hallam's up the inside, they're still side by side, and he's going around the outside down the hill, and he looks like he's made that stick. He has done a brilliant move from Matt Hallam up into 7th place. But out in front, Ben Winter has that gap back to Michael Seabourne. The front three here are all lapping at lap record pace, and it is Oliver Bayani putting the pressure onto Michael Seabourne for that 2nd place. Ed Bars is pressing Andrew Fryer for 5th position here, but it looks like Andrew Fryer is holding him off as Ben Winter takes the win. Michael Seabourne 2nd, Oliver Bayani 3rd, Kieran Dawson 4th, Andrew Fryer 5th, Ed Bars 6th. So here is confirmation of the results, with Ben Winter taking the win and 10 points for his championship total. Michael Seabourne took second place in 8 points, but he also set the fastest lap of the meeting, which gained him an additional point, and that fastest lap at 24.77 is the new lap record. Oliver Bayani completed the podium with Kieran Dawson 4th, Andrew Fryer 5th, Ed Barr 6th, Matt Hallam recovering to 7th, and Matthew Baker in 8th. The championship standings have Ben Winter leading the way on 57 points, 4 points clear of Oliver Bayani. Michael Seabourne sits 3rd with Kieran Dawson and Matt Hallam both on 43 points. Andrew Fryer is 6th and the best Masters driver in the championship, with Ed Barr 7th, Thomas Cardno 8th, Lewis Bailey 9th, and Matthew Baker rounding out the top 10. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you again soon.
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe